Captain America: Brave New World. It's like watching white noise. Not listening to it, but watching it. It's as soulless as that. I love some of the Marvel movies, and thankfully there wasn't anything near this the rest of the year for Marvel, but I'm tired of feeling nothing once those credits roll at the end of a Marvel film. Anthony Mackie proved that he can lead his own Marvel film. It just sucks that he had to lead a poorly written, broken Ferris wheel with an underwhelming view. Number 9, being I Know What You Did Last Summer. With Slashers coming back, it was still surprising to see them do a legacy sequel to a franchise that has a passable movie at best. This tries a big swing at a twist that does not stick the landing at all. In my opinion, even though the original wasn't all that great, it was still a pleasant watch for its time. I can't help but to feel like they ruined certain aspects of that. And number 8, Final Destination. I know, this movie was beloved by many horror fans, but I'm gonna give it to you straight and say that this felt like the same shitty sequels we got in the past. I love that first Final Destination movie. Although it was a gimmick horror movie, it unintentionally made you rethink how life can be so short. Not to mention the fact that it took its deaths very seriously. As the sequels went on, they became more like the Saw franchise, where they only cared about cool kills before a compelling story. This just felt like another product of that, and as much as people like this one, I failed to see the appeal. If you want to call it one of the better sequels, we can probably meet there, but calling it a sequel that is better than the original or calling it the best sequel, I'm just going to stick to being in the minority. Number 7, The Woman in the Yard. The Woman in the Yard was yet again another movie that felt like it was made to be a great short film. The idea is there and the themes are there as well, but with running at 90 minutes at even that runtime, it felt paper thin at some points. This is coming from the director who did a bunch of great Liam Neeson thrillers, so I can see the talent behind the camera, but what this story was trying to tell was very ambitious. It just sucks that it didn't have enough fuel in the tank to tell a full feature-length film. Number 6, The Conjuring: Last Rites. The Conjuring franchise. I'm not even that big of a fan of the Conjuring universe except for the first 2 Conjuring films. So you can already see where this is headed. Let me just start off with the positive in saying that Patrick Wilson and Via Farmiga are the best part of the entire movie. That is the best thing I can say. Whether it's its extremely long runtime with storylines that have nothing to do with the story itself, weird editing choices, using CGI for the scares, or the fact that this was another one of those movies where once the credits roll, I felt absolutely nothing. I mean, look at these demons. These were supposed to be the scares. I get it. We're all adults here. Actually getting scared in a horror movie is a pretty hard thing to do. Any moment it tried giving a scare, it just took me out of the movie completely. Because look at this. What the fuck is this? I don't know whose idea it was to have a giant inflated Annabelle doll be one of the scares, but I love the fact that it's there because it sums up the entire movie. The movie is an inflated Annabelle doll, hollow on the inside, trying to be scary on the outside. At number 5, we have SpongeBob. If you grew up with that 2004 SpongeBob movie, this is not it. I mean, from the last couple efforts being duds, having that soulless, lifeless 3D animation, to rehashing the same gags from previous episodes, and bringing in Ice Spice in this, I get that animated movies bring in musicians that don't necessarily make music for younger audiences. However, Ice fucking Spice? She is far from making music for younger audiences. To each their own, I guess, but you can't tell me that you don't question what Nickelodeon or Paramount peeps are thinking. Who the fuck was asking for this? Not to mention the fact that the animation feels strange. Every time I look at the characters, I feel like I'm looking at robots. Even the backgrounds felt lifeless. I struggle to understand why they even went ahead and did a 3D animated movie when they could have done a 2D animated film. They spent $60 million on this. They could have spent a third of that with the 2D animated movie and made just as much money as it did. I understand nobody was asking for David Hasselhoff to be in the original movie, but they made it work. He was well known for something that was clearly not for younger audiences, but they made it funny for both younger and older audiences. Hell, if that SpongeBob song that Ice Spice made for the movie was good, I wouldn't even be complaining much about her appearance. This is one of the worst movie theater experiences I had this year, and I only speak so passionately about it because I grew up with SpongeBob. That original movie came out when I was 2 years old. And number 4, we have him. I'm going to be honest with you and say, I don't really want to say much about this movie. It commits one of the biggest atrocities to film, and that being that it's boring. It's trying to be something that it's not. Marlon Wayans is phenomenal in it, and that's pretty much the only positive thing I can give it. I wanted this thing to be good, but then you realize this entire movie was leading up to something so unbelievably stupid that you feel like you've been robbed of 90 minutes of your life. Number 3, Snow White. My fucking goodness, this is the definition of soulless. I try not to use that word lightly, and I know I've said that for the previous movies, but this is one of the worst things a movie could do. Even in a movie that I think is bad can have some sort of heart into it. This feels like it was manufactured in a lab, not made by human beings. Nothing really worked here. The dwarves seemed off, performances were awkward, and worst of all, it's the only movie that I actually wanted to walk out of the theater for. Studio interference and reshoots equals a shitty product before a work of art. Number 2, Love Hurts. I forgot this movie ever existed. If it wasn't for the fact that Ki Hu Kwan was in this, I wouldn't have seen it. And sadly, I wish I never did. This is a complete nothing movie. It's a couple of different storylines stitched together with nothing to show for it. Number 1, a movie that was so bad and I was scared to watch it to begin with. The only movie on this list that I walked in believing it was going to be bad, and it was. A movie that is a sequel, and its first movie came out last year and was also on my worst of the year list. Strangers Chapter 2. This is part of a trilogy that is a reboot of the original Strangers, and although my anger should die down from the fact that this trilogy should not exist to begin with, because it's overly explaining something that was successful because of how ambiguous it was. But this is one of those movies where every 2 minutes you are getting pissed off and not enjoying the experience at all because characters keep making the dumbest decisions possible. Madeline Pesh, I believe is how you say her name. She is easily the best part of this movie. She's actually pretty good in it. I can't even say that she's carrying a movie because there's not much to carry to begin with. I do not care to know where the strangers came from. Not to mention the fact that the explanation is really fucking stupid too. This movie's constantly doing those red herring things when it's really stupid because, hey, if you're not a killer or a psychopath, why are you acting this certain way? Maybe it's because it's from the perspective of our main character. But even then, it still does not work for this movie because it is trying to be serious, but all it could do is laugh at certain times. The Strangers have never been less scary. Unfortunately, I will be watching the third one just to see if there is some sort of substance. But hey, before I go, I just want to mention the fact that I love movies, I love film, and I understand that making movies is so damn fucking hard. As much as I didn't enjoy any of these movies are a lot more complex than just being good or bad. So with that being said, there was some enjoyable aspects from each of these movies. Even the worst one yet, I got to see a good performance out of it. Thank you guys so much for watching this. My top 10 best of 2025 is coming out soon as well. Once again, thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one.